Hey everybody, just we're gonna wait for a few people to join, and then we'll get started. So in a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we're gonna have kind of the format we're gonna have is we're gonna have about 30 minutes that we're gonna go through and kind of have a little bit of education, and then after that, those 30 minutes, it may take a little longer, but after that, we'll have an open Q&A. And there's a couple of people who sent their questions in, so I will answer those, and then everybody else, you can, if you guys want to say your questions out loud, you guys can just in the chat room. So there's a little chat. You guys can say that I have a question, and I can call on you, or I can read those out loud. So whichever one comes in first, and it's going to be whoever asks the questions first. We'll kind of go through that. Perfect. So today with us we have Dr. Audrey Mickel. She is a naturopathic doctor. She also has a PhD in psychoneuroimmunology and a master's degree in counseling psychology, and is a registered nurse. She has received additional training in naturopathic endocrinology, anti-aging regenerative medicine, functional medicine, and traditional Chinese medicine, Vedic, I don't know how to say that one, and energy medicine. She's board certified in alternative medicine. Dr. Mickel has also been an active member of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine and the American College for the Advancement of Medicine since 1996. She served as a medical consultant for the U.S. Department of Labor for over 18 years. Dr. Mickel has been an associate professor at University of Utah, a graduate work of social work, and the University of California in San Francisco. She was previously on medical staff at St. Francis Hospital in San Francisco, and Dr. Mickel is also a former Army nurse. She is a dedicated Vietnam War veteran. Dr. Mickel has experience in anti-aging, longevity, and wellness. She has been providing wellness, health counseling, lifestyle coaching, and advanced nutrition counseling for over 40 years. And she's also currently completing a fellowship in peptide therapy, which is a new longevity modality. Also, Dr. Audrey is a commercial multi-engine instrument rated pilot. So thanks for joining us, Audrey, and
you're welcome.
Floor is open to you.
Alrighty, how many people do we have so far? Who's joining us?
We have 17 people, that's including you and me, so
great, okay. Alrighty.
Yeah.
I want to start off by saying that I'm going to switch over to me now. Or do you want to wait a moment or two? What would you like to do, Glad?
You go ahead. So
okay.
Just, yes, start and then we can...
okay, so everyone can see me now?
I think so.
Okay, all right, okay. So I want to thank everyone and express my appreciation for joining us today. I value your input. I value your desire for education and to expand and grow into these exciting new fields that we are now facing. And peptide therapy, in my opinion, is the way of the future. Absolutely, the way of the future. So today we're going to talk about peptides, but we're going to start off talking about the immune system. And I think that's extremely important right now, considering the current situation, considering the pandemic that we're facing and dealing with right now. You know, and most people right now are focusing on wearing masks and also social distancing, which does play a role. But in my opinion, I think the most important thing that we can do now is to truly boost your immune system. I think the immune system is a better way, addressing and strengthening your immune system is actually the optimal and best way to deal with any kind of a pandemic. Absolutely. So we're going to go take a review of the immune system, and then we're going to actually open it up to questions. So please feel free to share your questions. And there also, this link will be available afterwards on the Chi Supplements website. I think you go to YouTube and type in Chi Supplements, and you'll be able to find the link to not only this class, but to the previous classes. And also you can share those links with your friends. All right. So let's start off with my very first slide. That's a cue for you, Vlad.
Yep. I'm, 1 second, I just, all right, here we
go, any moment now. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. We're going to take a brief tour of the immune system. Now, this is entitled, of course, How Aging Affects the Immune System, but I want you to get a sense of the overview of the immune system. And so we have different components of the immune system, and lifestyle has a major effect, a major impact on your immune system. So I mentioned here about the immune senescence. We're going to get more in depth with immune senescence in a little bit. But basically we have the core pieces of the immune system. And we have the internal, and then we have the adaptive. So we have components of the immune system. So the internal immune system, basically that is comprised of many, many aspects, but it's the most basics. Basically, that's where it all starts. Because the immune system is, when we're quite young, is very, very strong. Again, unless we're exposed to other lifestyle factors. But the biggest issue that happens is as we begin to age, the immune system begins to decline. Okay? So we have these various components, and we also have, again, the components of the immune system. So what happens is that, let's say we have here a virus, okay? And we're all dealing with viruses right now. So let's say you have a virus that you're exposed to. So the body has the two systems. One is which has the responsibility for destroying the virus. And that is what we basically call the innate immune system. So as long as your innate system is up to par, you won't develop an infection. So when you get exposed to, let's say, a virus, then your innate immune system is responsible for destroying that virus before it has a chance to cause an infection. And so that's why when people, if they have a strong innate immune system and then they are exposed to it, they will never come down with the illness. But sometimes the innate immune system, excuse that, I thought I had my phone on airport mode. I will turn it off. Anyway, so if you ignore that, sorry about that. So the innate immune system can definitely be affected by lifestyle. So for example, stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, especially too much sugar, will have a negative impact on the innate immune system. So then also toxicity. Toxicity is a big one that also has an impact on the health of the innate immune system. So then we also have something called the adaptive immune system. So the adaptive immune system is comprised of the T cells, also comprised of factors in the bone marrow. So we have that is more of a, so for example, when you're exposed to a virus, what goes into action right away is the innate immune system, and that's the first to respond, and then the adaptive immune system kicks in after that, and then that's how we respond. That's how the body activates the system, and then you can your body can address viruses, inflammation, right? That's kind of like the basics, very, very basics, okay, of that. Okay. Now, there's a cost to activating the antibody system, but as long as we're in really good shape, there's not going to be a problem there. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't in very good shape. But the T cells in the body are the killers that is part of the adaptive immunity. And this is when the T cells are kind of like the big guns. They step in and eliminate the infections. And then T cells also contribute to long-term immunity. And so basically the body remembers the invader, and this is the whole theory behind vaccines, that the body develops long-term immunity. And that's how it's supposed to work. Okay. But again, and it is a key player, but again, a lot of people, because of the various lifestyle factors, do not have a really good immune system. So we think of the innate immune system as the body's first defense. Okay, it's always the first defense. And also a very important part of the innate immune system are the natural killer cells. That's important, okay? Very important component, okay? And then, again, with aging, we have a diminishment of the natural killer cells. Again, with the adaptive immune system, it responds more slowly, but it does mount a stronger attack against viruses, bacteria, and so this is where the T cells come in. And the T cells really are a specialized part of the immune system. We want to keep our T cells nice, healthy. Alrighty. Now, unfortunately, again, as I said, when we age, that's when the body starts to break down. So if you go to slide number 2, Glenn. Okay. So here this just talks about the T cells that are the targeted killers of the adaptive immunity. And if an infection goes undetected, those are our big guns. And that's the long-term immunity. That's what's really, really important. And then again, with the aging process, approximately in the 50s, your immune system will start to slow down. And that's why we see, as we age, so many more illnesses, We see more autoimmune. We see more cancers because of the aging of the immune system. And that's we call that immune senescence. And that's very, very important to know that. Alrighty. And also that's as the T cells go down with aging, that's also another reason when you give an older person a vaccine or vaccination, they won't have the same response as a person who was much younger would have. And that's another important piece. So we want to really work very, very hard to keep our immune system nice and strong. And that's one of the things we're going to address. Okay. So if we go to number 3, please. Okay, so this is rebuilding the immune system. So basically the immune senescence is that gradual aging of all parts of the immune system. And it starts in the bone marrow, okay? And also, so it doesn't make as many potent immune cells. That is a problem. Can you scroll down that one just a little bit, please? Okay. So that's why it says here, as you get older, you're more susceptible to infections, to inflammation, all kinds of things, okay? So that's why we want to really keep our immune system nice and strong. So that's, immune systems are important. And what the problem is that most people that I see when they first start working with me, their immune systems are not as healthy as they can be. So that's one of the reasons why I really try and focus on having a very healthy immune system. And you can, no matter what your age, you can have a really healthy immune system and not be susceptible and not have to live in fear. So let's go to number 4. This shows you some more. Again, the whole concept of immune senescence, how it loses its potency, and how the bone marrow production begins to decrease. And then we call this the depletion of the circulating immune cells. Okay, alrighty. So we lose control over what we call the inflammatory cytokines, and which are markers that keeps your body in balance, the inflammatory balance, in balance actually. So again, we want to give you a younger immune system, and we can do that with lifestyle, we can do that with diet, and of course we can do it with certain herbs, and we can also do it with peptides. We knew we were going to get to peptides, and that's where we're heading, okay? And which peptides are going to be the best, but only in combination with other factors. And that's what I also want to stress, okay? So that we, as we age, we keep a healthy immune system, and we don't need to live in fear that our mask and our social distancing will fail, okay? So your body can respond to all of this quite beautifully. Okay, all right, so next one is going to be diet, and that's where we're going to start. I always start when I work with people is on diet. I think it's a core foundational piece. When I go to the grocery store, and I basically, as I'm kind of nosy, and I'll check out other people's baskets. What are people buying? What are they eating? I'm just a curious little snob. So I want to find out, what are they eating? And so I'm at the store. This is not a really super duper health food store like Good Earth, which is one of our top health food stores here in the Bay Area. So I think it was like at Whole Foods, all right? And Whole Foods, they have some good stuff. And they also have some not so good stuff. So the guy had his mask on, of course, and he had his gloves on. He was all prepared. until I looked into his basket. And I was slightly appalled at what I saw in his basket. And there was very little food in there, you know. I was like, where is the food in this basket? And so he had sweetened drinks, you know, soda. He had a six-pack of beer, pastries, bread, cookies, and other very non-nutritious items. And it just struck me. Here's a man who will go to the lengths of wearing his mask, wearing his gloves, but he eats terrible. So how can you really build a healthy immune system with a not so good diet? And unfortunately, in this country, we in America, we have a tendency to have one of the worst diets in the world. It is unfortunate, right? And that the typical American diet is full of sweetened foods and drinks and a lot of processed meats, very few vegetables, and a lot of inflammatory fats. So the first line of defense is your diet, absolutely. And this is the best way to support it. Now remember, there was a very wise guy a long time ago who said, you let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And he was pretty brilliant. And that was good old Hippocrates. And remember also that you are what you eat, and you are also what the critter you just ate. So that's very, very important. And to have really healthy food and to eat as close to nature as possible. Eat real food. That's what I jokingly say, real food. And as much as possible, have it organic. And you can see my little list there. Can you eat too much pasture-raised proteins? Not really. Organic veggies? No. Fruit? Yes. I love cold pressed olive oil because it's extremely anti-inflammatory for the gut. I love ghee, which is clarified butter. And clarified butter is great for helping restore microbial health to your gut. It helps produce something in the gut called butyrate. And butyrate helps your body break down your proteins, and it's also very anti-inflammatory. So between the organic cold pressed olive oil and the ghee, those are really healthy fats. And I would include that into your diet every day. Definitely we want to avoid the sugar, the non-organic grains, processed foods, artificial sweeteners, etc. So the avoid list are all things that will weaken your immune system. And one of the big issues here are the omega-6 fats. The omega-6 fats are very inflammatory to the body. And so if you're eating a lot of omega-6 fats, that is problematic because it's going to increase the inflammation in your body and also reduce your immune system, make it not as healthy. So the first place we start is with the diet, right? Absolutely. And again, eat as close to nature as possible. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And eat real food. That's, and do the best you can. Just do the best you can. And if you have a garden, that's even better because there's absolute health benefits of spending time in your garden, especially if you're raising your own foods. And I love being able to go out in my garden and pull up the radishes or the zucchini and eat it straight away. And I'm also very proud of my garden too. Very therapeutic and healing. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. So what this is, I call it Dr. Audrey's Magic Potion. And what I've done here is put together all of the most potent antiviral, antibacterial foods that you can possibly eat. And so this is the whole formula. And you can make a big batch of it in a blender or Vitamix. And you can keep it in the refrigerator for days. And the directions are at the very bottom there. And I suggest people take it at the first sign that anything is going south. The first sign, a little sore throat, a little cough, anything that feels like it could be a potential problem. And that is the magic potion. And I give this formula to everyone. So not only take it, use it, but share it with your friends. You know, that you have the magic potion.
And if you guys want it, I will email these out with a link. So at the end of the,
right.
Yeah. And
yeah. Oh, we're getting a thumbs up there that says, do it. Oh, we got 2 thumbs up now.
And there was a quick question that was asked on the past slide by Alicia on the ghee.
Yes.
Does it do its magic even if it's used to sear beef? Or, yeah, grass-fed, of course.
Ghee is fabulous no matter what. So you can be mixed with anything. It makes no difference. I like to cook my pasture-raised eggs in ghee, and I use a ton of it. Actually, one of my absolute favorite treats is to bake a sweet potato and fill it with ghee. And that is like yummy, yummy, yummy.
Do you make your own ghee or do you purchase?
I purchase it. So, yeah, there's some really good organic ghees out there.
You can use it to cook instead of olive oil or oils.
I would not cook in olive oil. Olive oil is best if it's if it's kept at room temperature, but you don't really want to heat olive oil very much. If you do heat olive oil, you want to do it at a very, very, very low temperature, but you're much safer by cooking with ghee, because ghee can handle the higher temperatures and it's very, very, very stable. Okay, so I love ghee. Can you eat too much of it? No. It's an extremely, extremely healthy fat. It's a fabulous fat. Okay, and we have a little note here from Mary. Ancient Organics. Yes, that is a very great ghee. So I love my ghee. It is just super, absolutely super. So ghee is your friend. It's going to, again, help heal your gut. And the other thing I want to mention is that when you are cooking and you're cooking animal proteins, you want to always cook at low temperatures. That's extremely important, because when you start cooking animal proteins at higher temperatures, you start to create something called advanced glycation end products. And that's important to know about, because that causes aging of the skin, aging of your internal organs from a process called cross-linking. And if you see a hide that has been tanned, how rough and brittle it is. And it's just like leather, quite literally. And that is the same thing that happens if you're cooking, and this is one of the reasons why I don't char broil anything. When you're cooking your meats at a really high temperature, it will create, again, in your body, these cross-links of the proteins. And we actually, on autopsy, you'll see someone who's in their late 70s or early 80s, you will see that their organs internally become very, very stiff because of the consumption of advanced glycation end products. So low temperature heating. Okay, there's more questions, bring them on. All right, so so any other questions about the diet? We're going to move on here. Oh, you can always bring your questions in later, right?
Yeah, we have I guess one more question came up. How do you cook a filet mignon?
Low temperature, and I would cook it in ghee. It's quite yummy when you cook filet mignon in ghee, but do it at a low temperature. And another way of doing it at a low temperature is to also put a lid on it so you get good cooking, good thorough cooking. But you don't have to cook it until it's turning into a buffalo hide. Okay? So, you want your food to taste good.
7.
Okay, next one. please. Number 7. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start with basic immune support. Okay, in this day and age, vitamin C, vitamin D, K2, and zinc. Now, vitamin C is extremely important, and actually in China, and actually several hospitals in the U.S., they're using intravenous vitamin C to treat the coronavirus and having a great deal of success. So I do suggest everyone increase their vitamin C dose now. Now, the problem about vitamin C, yes, it can cause some gastric upset. And if you take too much vitamin C, you can actually get some diarrhea. So the best way to take your vitamin C is in the form called a liposomal. And what they do is they take the vitamin D and they put it in a fat coating, so you get your full dose of vitamin C, because the bioavailability of vitamin C is a challenge. So if you take regular store-bought vitamin C, you're only going to get approximately 30% of the absorption of the vitamin C. Whereas if you take the liposomal vitamin C, you will get 100% absorption. So right now, I recommend 4 to 6 grams of vitamin C, grams, not milligrams, grams of vitamin C, and split dose it. And it's best to be taken kind of away from food, because your body will, if you eat a lot of your vitamin C with food, your body will hang on to more iron, and you don't want higher levels of iron as you age. So right now I'm taking 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C in the morning, at lipospheric, of course, and then 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C in the evening time. So I got about 6 grams of vitamin C. Now, if you feel like you're getting sick, you can take your vitamin C up to a much higher dose. There is no downside to high dose vitamin C. And if I feel like I'm coming down with something, I'll take it easily up to 9 grams. Can you OD on 9 grams? No. So it's totally safe. Now the second thing is your vitamin D. And most people are taking not enough vitamin D, and I would definitely monitor your blood levels of vitamin D. And vitamin D, we're finding that low vitamin D levels are correlated to a higher incidence of COVID. So vitamin D will protect you. The problem is if you're taking high dose vitamin D, and right now I'm taking 10,000 international units of vitamin D to keep myself strong. So that's daily with breakfast. You always take your vitamin D with fat. Now, to be able to take a high dose vitamin D, and a lot of doctors are afraid of high dose vitamin D because they think it'll cause problems. Well, what happens is when you take high doses of vitamin D, it is going to mobilize more calcium in your body. And so they're concerned about all the high levels of calcium, because when the calcium levels are too high, then the calcium can get deposited within the blood vessel walls, and that contributes to plaque. Now, if you take vitamin K2, and that's kind of magic here, you take the vitamin K2 along with the vitamin D, it'll direct the vitamin D into the bones, and that's where you want nice strong bones. And the K2 will direct that vitamin D into your bones. And then of course we have zinc. Zinc is great for the immune system. I love zinc acetate. I like it in a lozenge. You can just suck on it, or you can take it as a capsule. So anyway.
So we do have, just so everybody knows, we do have a really great nano zinc spray product.
Great, I recommend it.
So with the nano zinc, it absorbs very well through your bloodstream, much better than other zincs. So we also have silver, which is also good for killing bacterial and viruses. So
let's go with that. So I mean that's my magic combo. is the CDK2 and zinc, right? So let's go.
If we're ready, if we're done with this one.
Yeah. Do you actually have a question about low temperature?
Yes. So what is that low temperature? Just
the low temperature is basically just a low heat on the stove, just a low heat.
Okay, so we're just going to use low heat on the stove. What about if using it in the oven? Is there a?
I wouldn't do it over 350.
Okay.
Okay. I love to bake, but I also like to do healthy baking with low glycemic, which is low sugars, and I never bake over 350.
Okay.
Okay. Or but a nice good roast chicken in the oven, that's delicious, especially if you cover it with ghee. All right. So let's go next one, please. Okay. So here are a few of my favorite friends, okay? Plants that inhibit viruses. Curcumin. Curcumin is amazing, absolutely amazing. Now, curcumin comes from the turmeric plant. And the thing about turmeric, a lot of people try and take curcumin, which is a great, great Ayurvedic herb. The problem is curcumin has a very, very poor bioavailability. So you're going to take it into your body, but you're not going to be able to absorb and assimilate the curcumin very well. So it needs to be paired with fat, and it also needs to be paired best with a little bit of black pepper. So the curcumin is very anti-inflammatory. It definitely boosts the immune system. So I'm a big fan of curcumin, and drink it twice a day. It is magic, absolutely magic. So it really promotes health on multiple different levels. Best, again, with fat, with a meal. And we also know something magic about curcumin, and that is curcumin can kill approximately 49% of cancer stem cells in your body. And there's very few plants that you can say that. And there's no drug that will do that. None. But curcumin can do it. And that, I think, is amazing. Okay. Now, the next one which I love is quercetin. And quercetin, as again, is extremely anti-inflammatory. And it definitely causes apoptosis of cancer cells. Apoptosis is killing of the cancer cells. But it also is great for inflammation. It's great. It also will kill viruses. So quercetin is just, amazing. Okay. Now, this is one that very few people have heard, and that's what we call bicalin. And bicalin has been used in Chinese medicine for only about 3,000 years. And bicalin is skullcap. And skullcap is really fabulous for what it can do for your lungs. And that's what I love about this one. And so I recommend it, and it has extremely strong antiviral properties. So bicalin is one of my friends, and I basically take it every single day because I love bicalin. It's just a great little product, great little herb, right? So, and then my next favorite one is humic acid. Now, humic acid comes from ancient prehistoric soil, and like soil of the time of the dinosaurs. And so there's a lot of amazing properties to humic acid. Humic acid is a great detoxifier for the body, but what's magic about humic acid is that if you consume humic acid, the body, actually, let's look at the viruses will have more of an affinity for humic acid than it will for the virus, than the body. So humic acid will definitely have antiviral properties and protect you against any virus. It'll also take all the garbage out, which is great. Okay. Now my next favorite plants, and I apologize, there is a misspelling that's supposed to be cistanche, and I have another page on cistanche. But reishi, we call reishi is the queen of medicinal mushrooms. I love medicinal mushrooms. But reishi has been, again, around for a very, very long time. And reishi will improve and block viruses. So reishi is a great one. So I like reishi. I consume reishi every single day because it's so good for you. I'm in love with medicinal mushrooms. And then chaga. Chaga is the king of mushrooms. And so we have the king and the queen, and these are great medicinal mushrooms. Can you take too much of them? No. And that is the beauty of it, is that they just, and they're just protective. And the medicinal mushrooms really improve cell-to-cell communication in the body, which is just great. They just know what to do. And can you take too much of it? No. Can you drink it, put it in a smoothie? Yes. Can you make a tea out of it? Yes. I make a tea out of it. I don't drink coffee in the morning, but I drink my medicinal mushrooms in the morning. I call it my mushy drink. It's great. Now, this is, it's supposed to be Cistanche, Cistanche. So Cistanche has been around for a millennia, and Cistanche is a Tibetan herb that grows in the high plains, and Cistanche can rejuvenate your immune system beautifully. And so Cistanche is one of my absolute favorites. It's a very resilient plant, and it's very, very anti-inflammatory, and it inhibits inflammation in the body. It's a great little thing, and it will definitely increase your baby T cells. So this is a great one. Okay. All righty, let's go. And so the next page, please. This just shows us about Cistanche and what Cistanche can do for longevity. It is considered a longevity drug, herb, and it definitely enhances the immune system and suppresses the inflammation in the body. So we love that. Okay, absolutely. Alrighty, Cistanche. Alrighty. So let's go to the next page, which is advanced support. And so, Vlad, can you mention something about the first line support?
Yeah. One second. So one of the products that we do sell is called First Line Defense. So the big thing about First Line Defense, it's the big thing about it is it's created, it only lasts about 6 months. So once you get the kit, they usually don't have a very long expiration date. But the design of this kit, and this was designed by a gentleman up in the United Kingdom, it produces natural OSCN molecules, which is found in tears, saliva, and mother's milk. And having these molecules, essentially, it's kind of a first line of immunity. So, because the idea is all of the viruses go in through our eyes or our mouth, and the saliva kind of helps kill off the first it's being our first line of defense. That's why it's called First Line. Yeah, it's a great product. I take one about once every month just to keep it going, and it really gives essentially your body a big boost. So if you are coming into flu season, if you have a kid that's sick, or if kids at your kids' daycare start getting sick, this would be a good thing to start. To give yourself a big boost for. And I think the boost typically, from what I remember, I think it's about 30 days. That boost is what it takes. And it's really interesting to mix it up. It's kind of a little bit of a chemical experiment, but it's kind of a big product. And the interesting thing is there's nothing else out there in the world right now that I've seen that can do the same thing.
Great. So the next we want to do is talk about the peptides. And these are my, I would say, top of the line, best peptides right now. Of course, all the peptides are really good. And so I like the pineal peptide quite a bit. And pineal peptide is amazing because it is really going to help restore your immune system. And we do know that the pineal one will help. It does play a role in immunity, and it definitely will provide additional support for your immune system. And also it's going to support your telomeres, which is the little tips of the ends of your DNA strands. And so pineal is a really great peptide to work with. And then also the thymus. Remember we talking about the thymus? The thymus is extremely important right now. You want a nice, strong, healthy thymus. So the combination of the pineal and the thymus are optimal right now. And since COVID is really attacking the lungs, I threw the lung peptide in there as well. So, and then if you're an older person, I would recommend using, or like take a month of the pineal, a month of the thymus, and then maybe take a month off and then go back and do another round. So I think that's just smart right now. And then also the lung peptide, you can do the same thing. Do you want to add 2 cents in there?
Yeah, just one more kind of note that so the pineal, the thymus, and the lung have actually gotten very, very popular, this year. So it's a lot of people have seen huge improvements with their just lung health and their immune system health with this. I am going to have a code that I can give 30% off on the first line product. So if anybody else is interested, I'll put that in the chat. It's going to be first and then the number 30. So and that'll get you guys 30% off. And it's going to be very limited. So I think we're only going to do probably a dozen units or so with this price. So
we really appreciate that, Vlad.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Do you want to go to the next slide? This is going to be, we have 2 last slides, and then I think I talked too much.
No, this is perfect.
Okay. So the Apotalon is the same as the pineal. And this, I'm going to throw this in here because this, this is a Russian peptide. It has done there's a lot of research around it. I love the pineal peptide. I use it myself. It is amazing. And it also works with thymosin, which is the thymus. So they work in conjunction. And there's just tons of research out on it. And we're going to see more data about pineal and also about the thymus. But this is a magic combo. Because as we age, our pineal gland will calcify and will also shrink. So this is a way of really keeping yourself younger, by keeping your telomeres younger, but also by keeping your pineal gland functioning, because it is the master of all the hormones in the body, is the pineal. So you want to have a nice, pretty, young, sexy pineal. Okay? The last slide, please. So here's another one about the pineal peptide, and I thought this was very impressive here. A lot of good research that's showing what the pineal peptide can do for your body. So I love the science. I love when we see that research and it backs up everything we're doing. Okay, let's open up for a few questions here. And if you also have questions that you come up, you can always email me. You can get my email from Vlad. Because we want to keep you all nice and healthy and happy and kicking around for a very, very long time. So
perfect. I'll start with a couple of questions that were emailed over to me.
Okay.
First question that
and I use all this stuff, mind you. And I will honestly tell you, I'm 72 years old. So
Yeah, that was a few people have asked me how old is Audrey, and they get really, really surprised when they hear that you're 72 years old.
I'm 72 years old. Yeah, I really am. So
Incredible.
I walk my talk.
So the first question that I have was recommended peptide for immune system for someone who has a pacemaker or hypertension.
You can use all of the Russian peptides very safely. There's no downside to the Russian peptides. You can use the thymus, you can use the pineal, along any of the Russian peptides are very safe to use.
Yeah, and then the second question is supplements for the immune system in addition to the peptides, which we've kind of covered.
We did cover.
So it's going to be vitamin C, D, K2, and zinc, and then there's a number of plants.
Yeah, but that's the basic, okay? I mean, I could talk for another hour about other things I recommend, but I wanted to give you the basics of what, you know, of a core, something that's doable, because I don't expect you to be taking a ton of pills. I do, but anyway. So I just want you to give you the best of the best of the best in the short time we have here. Okay, more questions?
I'm gonna stop this screen share really quick. That way we can see, because I don't think we need that screen anymore. And then it'll be a little easier for me to ask questions. Which peptides are most important for autoimmune leaky gut, and which are secondary?
Okay. Autoimmune leaky gut, you always want to start by healing gut first. I'm really into gut. Now, the humic acid will actually help heal the gut, absolutely. But if you want to heal the gut, you definitely want to take a look at the diet, go on that healthy diet. You also want to really check the status of your gut. And my most favorite test to do that is called the Viome. It's VIOME.com. You can order that, and you know, you can order that and find out in your own home. If I also do where I interpret what the Viome test says and make recommendations. So that's where you can find out what's going wrong with your gut, and then we can come up with a plan to heal your gut. Now, but with a gut, you really always start with food. Always start with food, and then because the thing about it is the gut talks to the brain. The brain doesn't talk to the gut, so it's the gut's talking to the brain. Very important. And so then we can go to the bells and whistles, which are peptides. You've got to get your core going first. Get yourself in optimal health. Your peptides will work better that way. Yeah. And everything will work better. So, you know, and nobody's going to do it for you. It's like you taking responsibility for your own health and well-being.
Perfect.
Did I answer that?
I think so.
Good.
That was perfect. Well, and yeah, I'll just add up to that question really quick. The peptides would be the digestive bundle, which would be probably the pancreas and the stomach and the liver, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. But also the humic acid, really great for the detox. I have other things up my sleeve for detoxing guts, but you really want to start with a healthy diet, humic acid, and detox generally.
Perfect.
Because your immune system begins in your gut.
Yeah, exactly. And that's usually
not the other way around. You have to have a healthy gut to have a strong immune system.
All right, next question we have is there was a post about combining peptides for maximizing the peptides versus treatments. Can you recommend combinations to maximize the peptides?
In terms of the combination?
I guess I can answer this one there's a number of peptide combinations that are very helpful. They're on every single one of our peptide listings. We do have a little excerpt about which peptides are combined together for additional benefits. And then we also have peptide pre-bundled combinations of peptides. If you go to our website under the bundle packs, those are already pre-bundled to help kind of make it a little bit more sense. So.
Well, I always love, I think a place to start is always going to be pineal and thymus.
Yes.
That's a good place to start.
Yes.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, and then I think we've covered this on a couple of other videos, which you can watch it a little bit more in detail if you want to learn a little bit more in detail about just starting peptides and which ones are great. But I recommend the 5 core peptides as something that kind of really kickstarts your whole peptide journey. If you don't have a critical issue that's really kind of bogging you down, the 5 is going to be the pineal thymus would be the number 1, followed by number 2. And then the next 3 are central nervous system, blood.
I love blood vessel too. Because when you're regenerating an organ, you want to make sure you have good blood flow to the organ.
Yes.
And that's why blood vessel is really important.
Yeah, so blood typically is number 3 with central nervous system as 4 and cartilage as number 5 is kind of how I rank them.
Mm-hmm.
And then next question we have is how to heal the gallbladder. And this was an offline question that was asked for me. So,
well, again, diet, absolutely diet. And one of the magic things people don't know about is bile salts. So anything that's going to support and help to detoxify the gallbladder, because a lot of people have a lot of junk going on. And so during a gallbladder flush, a gallbladder cleanse, you can get the nasties out. But and the thing about it is you need a healthy gallbladder and to be able to digest and metabolize your fats. And this is where bile salts or ox bile will come in and really help. So I love ox bile.
Okay, and then last question we have is which brand of humic acid do you recommend?
Humic acid, okay, this is one of my little secrets here. Okay. I've experimented around with a lot of humic acid because not every humic acid is up to par. You have to be careful, but looking for the best of the best of the best products, and not necessarily the cheapest. You get what you pay for. So it's quality products, and treat yourself like you're a queen or a king. Okay. Yep. So in terms of humic acid, there is a product on the market right now from Dr. Nuzum, Drnuzum. Dr. Nuzum has come up with a really great combination of humic acid and fulvic acid. And it also has a little bit of ulmic acid in it. So the humic acid, I jokingly call it the garbage man, and the fulvic acid is the mailman, and the ulmic acid, and I have not found another product out there that has ulmic acid in it, but the ulmic acid is a detoxifier and will clean out the hormone disruptors from your body. Now, it's not something, you don't take tons of it, and if you're first starting off and you're going to have a detox, you will have a little bit of a detox. And if you take too much of it, you'll get a bit of diarrhea, okay? But I start people on 1/16 of a teaspoon and taking it every other day. And so the humic is getting rid of the nasties. The fulvic is also helping with energy production, ATP. It's delivering the good stuff into the cells. So it's really improving cell-to-cell communication. Now, it's also going to work beautifully with any medicinal mushrooms you take, because it turns out the medicinal mushrooms also improve cell-to-cell communication in the body. Now, the ulmic acid is the absolute secret. And the ulmic acid cleans out the hormone receptors in your body and also gets rid of hormone disruptors in your body. So I think it's a great product. When you first start taking it, I suggest 1/16 of a teaspoon every other day to allow your body to acclimate to it. Okay? I take the stuff myself.
Yeah. Looks like we have a question from Alicia. Can't hear you.
You want to type it in? You can always email it to me too.
Oh, Dr. The name of the product.
Black brew. And it is black. It tastes like nothing. You don't need tons of water. You can take it any time of the day. But it's called Black Brew by Dr. Duzum. Great product. It's really great for healing the gut.
I will post a link of it just so.
Okay. But people can also email me too if they want to. And you can just email them my email.
Oh, there it is. Madeline posted it right there.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions?
These are our last two questions, and then.
Well, I wondered what your site lists two types of pineal peptides, the A8 and the endolutin. What's the difference and what's preferred?
They're both good.
They're the same. It's the same product.
Yeah, just the different packaging, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, the prices are different.
I think one of them is a 60 capsule version and one of them is a 20 capsule.
Oh, that explains it.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, honey.
Okay, any other questions?
All right, we have one last question.
One last question.
Going once.
Going twice?
Oh, Claire? On, you're muted.
When do we get to hear Audrey next with her next webinar, new information that inspires us so much?
We don't know, but I must tell you, I'm going to everybody who's watching this, Claire has an amazing boutique in Sonoma, but Claire is 75 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she walks my talk.
To whom may I attribute my joyful happiness and well-being? To all?
Yourself.
Okay. No, there is so much we can do to have a long, joyful life.
Yes.
And I'm going to sign off because I'm going to go sell something to one of my beautiful ladies. But I wanted to thank you. And please come back soon, both of you. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, we will try to have maybe this in another next month. So if you guys stay tuned, we'll be emailing out. So, and we're gonna have a new topic for next month as well. So all the questions can be asked.
So thank you so very much, everyone. I really appreciate you attending. I appreciate that you're taking the time out of your day to listen to me and to Vlad. We are here to serve you. We are here to help you be happy, live long, and prosper. In the words of the great Ricard. So we really appreciate everything, all your joy and your questions and everything you bring to us, because you help us to contribute to the well-being of all of you. And we're very grateful for to have the opportunity to do that. So thank you, Vlad.
Thank you, Audrey. Thanks for joining. Thanks for everybody for joining, and thanks for leading this. And with that, we'll end this webinar.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a lovely day.
Yeah, everybody as well, and I enjoy the upcoming weekend.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Hurry back.
Will do.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.